Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And I am Mysca.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. Today we usually upload a top 5 video, but instead this week we've decided to discuss the Torbjorn and Bastion changes, since we want to sort of make a discussion before the changes actually happen, as well as do a video afterwards, sort of comparing the two and what has actually changed. But enough about that, let's just jump straight into it. We're going to split this video up into sections, beginning with the facts. Why are Torbjorn and Bastion being reworked? What's wrong with them? What are their sort of problems? And then we're going to follow up with how they would be reworked based on both facts and speculation. We've also played with the idea of doing videos based on what changes we'd like to see in the supports, what changes we'd like to see in the tanks, because doing each hero one by one, there isn't enough changes to be had for heroes like Reinhardt, for example, but doing all of the heroes in one video would take far too long, and we just want to keep it quite short and concise. So let us know if that's something you'd like us to see, and whether there are any heroes that you would like to see changes and what for, and maybe we'll discuss that. But anyway, let's crack on, and we'll start with our Swedish engineer.
Torbjorn and his turret have an extremely high damage output. Since it's split between two sources, one mobile and one immobile, people have a hard time dealing with it, since you're essentially dealing with yet another hero. The turret's damage is incredible even at just level 2, and together with a few hits from Torbjorn himself, you can take most heroes down fairly quickly. But the difficulty to coordinate your team well in public matches if you're playing with randoms adds to the reason as to why Torbjorn can be hard to beat. Just running at the turret and sacrificing a couple respawns to the turret does take it down eventually, but dealing with it effectively was something that some players, especially those new to the game, had big issues with, according to the beta feedback given to Blizzard. Meanwhile, the more experienced players rarely use Torbjorn since they found and use ways to deal with the turret quickly. Since you need another hero to shield the turret to protect it properly, it just isn't worth picking up Torbjorn in high level play. Torbjorn is great in public matches but hasn't been picked up in any tournaments played so far. This is why he's being reworked.
Bastion is in a very similar situation, except the issue that he is immobile most of the time, making the hero very vulnerable to any hero that could easily get behind or directly above him. It's a similar sort of thing with Torbjorn. At a lower level it can be quite difficult to take them out, but for the highest skill games and those, in inverted commas, competitive games, they just stomp them quickly, and it takes them so long to get set up again and defend, so you don't really see them. So it's all about finding that balance between being too good at lower level but not good enough at competitive level.
So what type of changes can we expect? Let's begin by looking at the Torbjorn updates that were accidentally pushed on the 1st of December. The level 3 turret's health was boosted from 600 to 700. It supposedly also dealt slightly less damage, and the upgrade cost was reduced by half, making it just 50 scrap. To begin with, these are just changes for values for abilities. To my understanding, it was only some of the fixes they had been working on back then, so I'm sure there's more since they started work on Torbjorn all the way back in November. I think we're definitely getting an ultimate rework since upgrade cost was reduced, making Molten Core's upgrade speed unnecessary. I've seen many people suggesting that the old should allow you to move the turret without having to rebuild it. This seems like an interesting change to me and might actually work quite well. Personally, I would love to see Torbjorn gain access to another buildable for his ultimate, or a new way for him to protect his turret, rather than just standing next to it and hitting it with his hammer repeatedly.
Regarding changes, Bastion is a little trickier than Torbjorn. We saw an ultimate rework already with Bastion about a year ago, changing his old AoE mine to the tank mode that we now know that we had in the first phase of the beta. However, Bastion is still extremely vulnerable when immobile, and something needs to be done to make him less of a glass cannon and make him at least a little bit more viable in potential tournaments in the future. I mean, that's what Blizzard are trying to work out here. I know talking about competitive games and tournaments seems like a mile away, but you know, Blizzard need to make these changes now instead of when the game actually launches, so there's a lot of preemptive strikes here. Bastion hasn't received any changes during the beta, so we have nothing to really go from like we have with Torbjorn. For us, the ultimate seems fine, it seems great, but reworking Sentry and Recon mode might be a good idea. Going out of Sentry mode exposes you a lot since you don't have any projected shield anymore. But staying in Sentry mode makes you vulnerable to heroes on the flanks, so we probably need to find a middle ground here. There isn't really much to go off regarding these two heroes, but we know that these are heroes that will be changed, as Blizzard said, from top to bottom. There are going to be huge changes to these heroes, so it's definitely worth talking about, but let us know what you think. If you've played the beta, what did you think of Bastion and Torbjorn? If you haven't played the beta, what have you seen? What do you like? What you don't like? Let us know. We might bring this up again when the beta comes back and have a bit more of a longer conversation about it. But that's it for this video. Drop us a comment with your suggestions on how Bastion and Torbjorn should be reworked. Do you have crazy ultimate ideas like we did with Zenyatta, or just some value changes that you believe will balance the heroes better? Do let us know, we're always interested in what you say. Also, on Monday we should have a Q&A thing going out. It might be a series, it might be a one-off depending on how many questions we actually get down the line. But do let us know if you have any questions about this, about anything, you know, the usual. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more Overwatch content. Do follow us at Twitter, which is @OWCentral. We'll be sure to post a lot of stuff on there, as well as, you know, fan art that's been made in the community and stuff like that. So do follow us there if you haven't already. But until next time, take care, and we will see you then.